This is a video for a Honda Accord 2.2 diesel ES-GT Tourer. This is the automatic version. Car's covered 84,800 miles. Fully serviced from new and in really fabulous condition. I'm just going to go around the car for you. Front of the car's in really good order. There's hardly a stone chip to be seen. Obviously if you look very closely, I'm sure you'll find something. Lenses on this near side here completely free of any marks, cracks or condensation. Near side exactly the same there. Offside front wing unmarked. Front tyre, tons and tons of tread, and the alloy's in very good condition. Just a titchy bit of curbing just there. Just worth pointing out, as you look through the spokes there, you can see a brand new set of discs and brake pads. The video that follows this is a road test of the car, in which I noticed that the brakes had a bit of judder to them, and so these have now been attended to, so you can ignore in the following road test where I pick up on that, because that's all been rectified now. Panel work down this side, absolutely crisp, very clean and tidy car. Let's pan back this way a bit as well so you can see. But it is pretty much mirror smooth down that side. There's no indentations, no car parking dinks or otherwise. Rear tyre is a Goodyear tyre, again tons and tons of tread on it, and the alloy generally good, just a couple of little marks on the spokes there. Going around the back of the car, really good looking, very handsome estates these, drive absolutely beautifully as you'll find out in due course. But the back of the car again, really clean and tidy. You can't see any obvious marks on there. Near side of the car, again as with the other side, pretty much mirror smooth, can't see anything on there at all. Near side rear wing, nothing there. Rear Goodyear tyre, tons of tread, and the alloys without a mark on this side. Coming down the flank of the car now, again really crisp and tidy and clean. Near side front wing, again unmarked. Final Goodyear tyre, again absolutely tons of tread, and the alloy very good with just a titchiest bit of curbing on the side there. We're coming into the boot area now, absolutely massive boot on the Accord, it really is. It's very well furnished and finished inside on the car. Underneath here, just pull that up and it gives you access to extra storage area and also your tools and inflation kit, which is all there and intact. Right, coming into the back of the car, rear near side door card, absolutely superb condition. Obviously got a half leather interior on this ES-GT model, and it's all in very good order in here. Right, coming to the front of the car now, we've got the driver's door card again, absolutely top condition. Sill area is all really good. Driver's seat, absolutely fantastic condition, really lovely supportive seats. The bolsters are all in really fine order. I mean, these cars take their mileages incredibly well. And then front passenger seat again, absolutely superb condition. Alright, so I'm inside the car now, engine is running. Just to quickly pan down here, show you, obviously you've got the full owner's manual pack and locking wheel nut key, which was supplied from new with the car. Just pan around the dashboard, all in really lovely condition. Fabulous design on the dashboard here. Fully functional sat-nav system, and then you've got your audio and cruise control, climate control system, all fully functional there as well. Obviously automatic gear lever for this automatic car. Coming across, we've got the multifunction steering wheel, so you've got audio top left, cruise control top right, and then you've got your hands-free and voice activation system bottom left, and information display system controls bottom right there. Just coming up to the dashboard here, as you can see the engine is running with the rev counter there. We've got 84,818 miles recorded, and there's no warning lights on the dashboard. The only light there is for the low fuel. Going back here, I'd say everything's in really fabulous condition in the car. These are things that are built like tanks. Very high quality materials used, and so you've got to be very careful to make sure that cars you look at have got a full maintenance history, because it's very easy to find clocked ones, given how well they take their miles. Finally, just coming under the engine bay now, and just to point out, the engines always sound a lot noisier on the video than they do in reality. Really well presented engine bay under here. Fabulous engines, you know, really strong, very long lasting, and amazingly economical. No cam belts on these cars, it's all cam chain driven, so no big bills to worry about on any future servicing in the vehicle. This is the road test for a Honda Accord. It's a 2.2 DTEC automatic. Car's registered LF09YDA, and mileage at the start of this brief road test is 84,804 miles. The reason we do these road tests, as I say in all of them, is basically now we are selling to people from all over the near continent and, you know, the far reaches of the UK. So clearly, if people are willing to make the effort to come and see us, and we just want to give them the reassurance that if you are going to come and see us, then obviously we've driven the car, we can tell you about any issues with the vehicle whilst I'm on the test drive now, good, bad or otherwise. Bear with me 1 second. And then what I try and do with them is just go through them in an order that hopefully you'd probably do yourself when you came to drive the car, and then I'll see if there's anything I can pick up whilst driving the vehicle. First things first, I always start with the engine clearly. You know, it's kind of the order you'll do it in yourself. The engine is, you know, very typically Honda DTEC. It's a wonderful diesel engine. They produce their power very smoothly, very refined, loads of grunt to them, you know, and it's a very good match to this automatic. But this particular example, it starts absolutely on first turn of the key. There's no strange noises from the car. Engine's very sweet, very quiet, goes to a very even, subdued idle, and revs beautifully throughout the rev range. It's a very nice example of this particular car. And they're known to take mileages extraordinarily well, so it comes as no surprise. But just to give you that reassurance, as I'm driving along here, there's no warning lights on the dashboard. The only warning or reminder light is for the service, which we're going to conduct in the car prior to it being sold. But in terms of the engine itself, no, it's a lovely example of one of these cars. This then drives through this really brilliant automatic gearbox. This is you know, Honda at their best. It's a lovely, slick, very mechanical, very sort of oiled feel to the gearbox. Originates, from what I understand, from the Honda Legend. They wanted to give it a strong gearbox because of the torque of the engine, as opposed to the petrol engines, which don't produce so much low down and such instant big hits of torque. And this one is perfect. It's, you put it into neutral and select first, there's no delay, no clunk as it goes in. Likewise into reverse, it picks from first to second very smoothly indeed, and every gear change up or down the box is absolutely beautifully done, and it drives in that sense as you'd expect a low mileage one too. As I drive along at motorway speeds here now, I tend to be listening out for kind of wind noises that shouldn't be there, things that would suggest that maybe a windscreen seal or window seal had shown signs of perishing. But the reality is, it's exhibiting none of those noises at all. Steering on the car, it's bullet straight, tracks absolutely perfectly exactly where you want it to go. There's no vibrations to the steering wheel that I shouldn't be feeling. That would suggest things like sort of wear in the suspension, but there's nothing there at all. One thing I would say, and I said I try and be honest on these things, in the brake pedal there, I can feel a little bit of vibration through the pedal. Now that could either clear as part of the road test, or if it doesn't, it would suggest that we need to get the brake pads or discs looked at. It's a wear and tear item on the car, and this is why I do these tests. I'm not going to pull any punches. If there's something there, I will tell you about it, and I can just feel a little bit coming through. With 20 years of experience of doing this, quite often that can disappear with a few sharp jabs of the brakes. There's a clear bit of muck off the brake pedals where it hasn't been used for a while. But if it can't and it doesn't, then it's something we will attend to. Suspension is going about its business incredibly smoothly. There's no strange noises from underneath the car that shouldn't be there. Obviously when you hit a bump, you'll hear a bump. What I'm listening for is kind of these kind of aftershocks, little sort of shimmies or vibrations from underneath the car, and there's nothing at all. I mean, it has a fantastic ride in the Accord. You know, you've got what is a comfortable car, but still gives you incredibly precise handling, and that's quite a hard thing to achieve. You know, that compromise between the two of them. But this, you know, this one drives beautifully. It's just that underneath the car, there's no kind of noticeable wear in sort of ball joints or track rod ends or these little anti-roll bar link arms, which are, you know, designed to wear more quickly than the other parts of the car. But this one drives with real solidity, and you know, it's a marvelous car to drive for that. Go around the rest of the vehicle itself. I mean, the interiors you'll see on the preceding walk around video. It's in really lovely order, very high quality dashboards in here. Got all this lovely kind of soft touch, very nicely grained and textured plastics on the car, which, you know, in theory they probably nicked the idea from BMW, who were the best at it for years. But it's a really nice job they've done on the car. This one exhibits, I can't hear a buzz or a rattle from the interior anywhere, but again, that comes as no surprise. They're beautifully bolted together cars. But the layout of the car, really good. You've got that huge dominating big screen sat-nav system on the car. Obviously when you pop that into reverse, that goes to a nice clear parking camera as well. But it all works absolutely beautifully. Nice big easy to use radio system. You've got dual zone climate control, which works absolutely perfectly on the car as well. Obviously you've got a CD system as well with a multiplay, six disc multiplay. There we go, get there in the end. So it's a nice spec car. Coming over to the main dials here, big, bold, really easy to read, classic Honda dashboard setup. Huge rev counter, huge MPH, speedo, and it all works absolutely perfectly. Very easy to assimilate that information. To the left of the rev counter, you've got your temperature gauge, and on all Hondas, and especially on these Accords, that should run about a third of the way up the temperature gauge, and that's exactly where it is on this car. To the right, obviously, you've got your fuel gauge there, and as I said before, there's no warning lights illuminated on the car apart from that service reminder. Then we've got the steering wheel, really nice, thick rimmed, no wear in it at all on the steering wheel here. Top left of this multifunction steering wheel, we've got your audio controls. Top right, cruise control. And then bottom left, we've got these voice activation controls as well for your hands-free telephone and other functions. The voice activation stuff I tend not to use, I'm going to be honest with you. I know people do, but I find it a bit of a gimmick. You know, you call up Radio 3 or change your fan speed settings, but more often than not, it ends up having a bit of an argument with you as to what you're trying to choose. Bottom right, we've got the information display controls. So it's all really nice and easy to use. You can also manually change gear on the car by using these paddles, so plus or minus. So if you're going to overtake something and you want to hold it in a gear rather than allow it to, you know, be slightly indecisive when you really want to be controlling what you're doing, then you can do so as well. But every control I've pressed works really well. There's a real precision about the way Honda build these things, and this is why they can take their mileages incredibly well. But it's also why you've got to be very careful if you're going to see one that you're not looking at one that hasn't, you know, obviously been may not have been serviced that well, big gaps in the services, and you know, it could well have done more miles than you care to think, because you know, this could have done 100,000 miles and still look just as good. They are very well made cars. You know, brings me on to the main drive of the car itself, and it's a really good and very sought after combination. The manual, the diesel and the auto. Quite often you find with diesel and auto combinations, they don't always actually work that well together. You know, the auto can be a little bit indecisive because it can't quite work out what the engine wants it to do. But on this particular car, it's it's just a perfect match. You've got a really gutsy, powerful diesel engine, a really slick auto, and it just seems to combine really well together. I mean, these diesel engines don't have a lot of lag, so you put your foot down, they respond very, very quickly indeed, and it's just that really lovely combination where they said the engine knows what the gearbox knows what the engine wants it to do. And in this particular car, as I said, it drives beautifully. It really, really does. I really can't, apart from sort of, I said, we'll get sorted when the car's serviced. I can't fault the main drive of the car. Engine, gearbox, suspensions, all absolutely superb. And as I said, by the time anyone comes to us, we'll have had, I'm guessing if I was betting a man, I'd say it's front discs need to be replaced. So we'll have those done as part of the preparation of this particular vehicle. But I said that is, don't be alarmed. That's exactly why we do these test drives. It'd be very easy for me not to tell you and just hide it from you, but the reality is that's why we do it. So it's to give you the reassurance that you're dealing with a company that takes these things on the chin. But all in all, great car. It'd be a fabulous car for somebody.